Very good. So, delighted to join the Must High Tech Expo Smart Payment Conference. I will be talking about biometric cards, the next generation for both payment and access control. And this is also an extension of my good partner Patrice's presentation from IDEMIA. IDEMIA is a technology partner of Zwipe. So if you go to the next slide, I'll be giving a quick introduction to Zwipe, and then I'll address why I believe that biometric payment cards will actually volumes of hundreds of millions or maybe into even the billions globally in this decade. And also how Zwipe aims to be a leading player driving growth for biometric cards globally. So if you go to the next slide, I'll just quickly say that Zwipe is a biometric fintech company that has been pioneering next generation contactless authentication within payments and access control for many years. We're headquartered in Oslo, Norway. We have a global team, and we offer an end-to-end turnkey solution for biometric cards, both technology and support, and both to our direct customers, the card manufacturers, and also to issuers, the banks. We have a long history of world's firsts in the industry. For example, the world's first pilot of a dual interface biometric payment card together with Gemalto, Visa, and Bank of Cyprus in 2018. And we are now positioned for global technology and cost leadership with a disruptive single silicon technology and a one-stop shop offering. We have a fast-growing partner network globally, and we are listed on Stockholm and the Oslo stock exchanges. So next slide, please. I won't go into the details on there is overwhelming evidence that biometric payment cards address important customer needs and concerns, just like Patrice said, convenience and ease of use, security and privacy, hygiene. And to add some flavor to what Patrice said, I would like to highlight that in our studies, we found that 60% of consumers are actually willing to pay for getting biometric payment cards, and that 5 out of 10 consumers are willing to consider switching to a new bank or issuer to get hold of a biometric payment card. Next. Thank you. So it's because of the strong consumer preference for these cards, banks also stand to win by offering biometric payment cards. Zwipe has, in collaboration with Payment Systems Europe, a renowned consultancy and analyst firm, developed a comprehensive ROI calculator to demonstrate the value for each and every issuer based on their own situation, so their own portfolio size, product mix, and their own assumptions. And this is in order to model the P&L impact in real time for the banks. We can show the depth of impact both on spending, retention, fraud, dispute costs, etc., including all the revenues and costs for a bank of introducing biometric payment cards. And this will enable our clients to assess the effects of deploying biometric payment cards, and also to help them in a decision which is really important, whether to fee or not to fee for a biometric payment card. Next slide, please. So what does the ROI calculator show? Well, for issuers, there can be tremendous benefits from conversion to biometric payment cards. This is an example from a US bank, assuming a conversion of 1 million biometric payment cards or credit cards to biometrics, 1 million debit cards to biometrics, and then 100,000 commercial cards. And we have estimated the full costs of implementing Zwipe Pay 1, including the costs of the card and everything. And we've just assumed 1% top of wallet impact and no card fees whatsoever. And still, the effect for the bank would be an increase in annual revenues of $22.4 million for such a conversion. And it's mostly drawn from credit cards, both consumer and commercial, but also from debit cards. So next slide, please. So this, of course, shows that there are some enormous drivers for growth in this market. And this has also been projected by Mortar Intelligence, who released a new report only in December, showing that they expect a CAGR, so a compounded annual growth rate of more than 155% all the way from 2020 to 2026 in terms of revenues of biometric cards globally, and more than 200% CAGR on volume. So this means that only from last year, 2021, revenues on biometric payment cards, or biometric cards in general, I mean, are expected to double 109 times on revenue and 246 times on volume. Next slide, please. And where is this growth coming? Well, it's actually across the board that biometric payment cards will be relevant for payments, for government ID and access control. And it's projected that payments will account for about 2/3 of this. Next slide, please. Zwipe has been through a tremendous transformation, I would say, in terms of technology. The industry progression, it's all about complexity, size down, cost down, and we have been on that journey in partnership with IDEMIA, and now we are offering a single silicon solution which can offer best-in-class biometric performance and energy efficiency, and which implies a radical cost reduction. And this is a really very comprehensive and compelling offering for banks. Next slide, please. And also for the card manufacturers. And what makes Zwipe stand out from the crowd is not only our technology, but also the fact that we are offering a one-stop shop experience for our customers with a complete turnkey solution. So we are offering to be a single source of expertise, not only for the technology in terms of mechanical technology, but also logical technology. We are taking an aggregator role towards the suppliers of components, etc., which means better prices for our customers. And we are a value-adding trusted advisor, both card manufacturers to become production ready and sales ready of these cards, and also to banks, where we're offering several packages to help them through the stages of assessment, preparation, and implementation of both pilots and. But most importantly, I think that the full focus and dedication that we have to biometric authentication, together with our company culture, is what makes us stand out. And in addition, also innovation in a broad sense. The ROI calculator was one example. And on the next slide, please, we will see another one, which is in the area of enrollment. We are looking at all kinds of enrollment solutions, envelopes, both a standard or a bespoke solution. We are looking at sleeves. We are looking at in-branch enrollment for banks who would want that kind of solution. But most importantly, we are looking at mobile enrollment, and we are spending quite a lot of time developing a feasible and easy to use mobile enrollment experience. Next slide, please. Here you will see a demo of where we are at with our mobile enrollment today. So if you can run the film, please.
Mobile enrollment of a Zwipe biometric demo card. For this purpose, I will pick a handset running a Zwipe mobile enrollment app And I'm using this simple cardboard structure. Hi. Today we are going to perform a mobile enrollment of a Zwipe biometric demo card. For this purpose, I will pick a handset running the Zwipe mobile enrollment app, and I'm using this simple cardboard structure, which allows it to easily align the antenna of the card with the antenna in the back of the handset. This structure can of course be part of the shipping carrier when the card is sent out to the client. So let me bring that close. See, this is recognized by the phone and also confirmed with a sound and vibration. I will start the process now and place my finger as instructed, repeatedly onto the fingerprint sensor, and the progress bar continues on the bottom. The mechanical structure is keeping the card stable during the whole process, which is important for reliable operation. One more time, and I'm done. This card has now been broken. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Valisoa. I hope you can hear me still. So if you put it into slideshow. So mobile enrollment, of course, means less cost, less complexity, less environmental waste, because you don't need to send out any mechanism for the enrollment. What we have done is to develop an app which can be embedded in the bank's app through SDKs. And we've also developed some particular mechanisms to improve the mobile enrollment. One of them is shown here. It's what we call the cradle, a mechanical structure to place the card exactly optimally compared to the antenna of the mobile phone, and it also keeps it stable, which is really important. Our R&D department is also working on another low-cost device to boost the enrollment performance even more, and we will come back to disclosing what this is later on. So next slide. Based on this approach, we have built a really large and fast-growing supplier and partner network with both card manufacturers and also processors and other go-to-market partners. And this is something we will continue to do in order to position ourselves for this strong market growth. And next slide. So we are also going into access control. It's not only payments, where we are using the same technology, so the Zwipe Pay One platform, to enable it with access control applets and credentials, so that we can use it also to both access logical and physical premises with the same very strong technology. And that will offer excellent cost-benefit ratios to customers all over the world for access control as well. So next slide. It's my last slide. Just wanted to say that biometrics do represent the next generation for both payment cards and access control. It is happening now. As Patrice pointed out, the market and the ecosystem is maturing, and it's ready to take off in larger volumes. Zwipe is committed to drive this growth for biometrics in both payment and access control. And if you want to know more or get more information, please do reach out to us on the different channels. And with that, Anan, thank you so much for the opportunity to present.
Thank you, André. It was really, clear the complexity of the system. I think you presented it, and it was agreed to present this video to a demo, and also to present the complexity of the system in place. If I look at the chat, I have a question for you, but it's not about the technical side, unfortunately, André. It's more about saying our biometrics, it will be used in ID, and you presented this also other application, and in banking, how this is managed. It means people, they know that this biometric will be used in their ID and their banking in access control. Means I think people as asking how this is managed by the government and regulated, or it's just every entity, means banks are managing biometrics, ID are managing, government are managing. It's a database of biometrics, and access control is, this is, I think the question is about this.
Okay, so payments and government and access control are separate entities. Within payments, the whole system is managed by the schemes like Visa, MasterCard, and others. And they will set the standards and set some certification requirements. And it's a really rigorous and comprehensive process to get certified cards. Within ID and access control, there are many different segments and sub-segments. Some of them are highly regulated, especially when you get into the heavy government ID, like, for example, passports, etc. Whereas for access control to companies, etc., it is much simpler regulation around it. But of course, it is important to bear in mind that with biometric cards, there is no database, because all the biometric data are stored only on the card and nowhere else. And they are not shared with anyone. And I think that is a really important aspect.
Yeah, I think it's good to mention it, because this is something that make really the difference between the other systems and the biometrics card. Yeah, this is, I mean, good to mention it again. Thank you so much for this presentation.